Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here on the subject of objective self-defense. Self-defense comes in different levels. One of the levels at which we may choose to defend ourselves might be the state, and we might let the state take care of certain things. So let's discuss that. An anarchist might be surprised to go out into the forest with some cowboys, or to go up onto an oil rig, or to go trucking up in Alaska. And he'd be very surprised that in this world where we've all agreed not to hurt each other, you have to take guns, and you have to defend yourself, and you have to be ready. You have to have equipment and a first aid kit and stuff. And they might be very confused by this. They say, but I thought we decided not to hurt each other. Well, there could be some individual out there who decides otherwise, so we prepare. Now, defending yourself on an individual level, inside of a city, inside of your own home, means having maybe a gun or a knife in case somebody attacks you. If a gang of 5 or 10 people attack you, you're going to need, a machine gun or something like that. So that's a pretty serious situation. If it gets that big, you've got to call the police. You probably shouldn't have a machine gun locally. Maybe if you have an area where it's safe to shoot it, then you can have one. Maybe machine guns could be licensed because one-on-one crime doesn't really require a machine gun. Really, if you're being attacked in a way that you need a machine gun to defend yourself, then that's a serious situation. You really should call the police. Now, therefore, people shouldn't own machine guns. I wouldn't go that far. I don't even think I personally wouldn't license them if I were the dictator of America, and then I would resign from being dictator right after that. I wouldn't allow them to be licensed. I would say you should own them. It doesn't make sense to have one unless you have a place to shoot it, of course. And if you misuse it and hurt somebody or kill somebody, then me and the other people around here have a sophisticated behavior we call law. And we've written down some laws, and we really don't care whether you believe them or not. If you don't follow the laws that we've written down, we're going to put you in jail. And we really don't care if you want to go to jail or not. We have people with guns that are going to put you there. So that's how we handle self-defense. Now, if you need a helicopter gunship to defend yourself, you really do need to call the police, and they probably don't have the weaponry to do that, so they're probably going to have to call the National Guard. So it's just objective levels of self-defense. Now, if we all agree to not use machine guns and grenades in our daily self-defense, and to just push those up a level to the police force, and then the police force can pretty much agree that they don't even need to use them because none of us are using them, they get pushed up even further, up to just the army, who uses them against other countries. You see, now, to some extent, we can even stop the use of things against other countries, and we become more and more peaceful over time. But the only way that we can do that is to say we have the right to self-defense. I have knives, I have guns, the local police force has grenade launchers and armored vehicles, and the National Guard unit has tanks and bazookas. And I will use my knives and guns if someone breaks into my house, and if a gang tries to take over the street, the police will come with large numbers of troops. And if Canada invades and tries to take over Milwaukee or Bangor, Maine, then the National Guard will come with bazookas and armored tanks, and the Air Force will come in if Canada happens to bring in enough mounted troops. So there are just different objective levels to self-defense. Now, the more we can push the use of extremely dangerous weapons further up away from daily society, the more peaceful daily society is going to be, only if we have those things in our pocket to be used just the second that somebody comes out. So like when those guys came, all of a sudden a car pulls up in Los Angeles at some store or bank or something, and some guys step out, and they're head to toe in Kevlar armored body armor. And the police are shooting at them, and police do not have bullets that will pierce that stuff. They didn't have any guns. The shootout went for hours, and the police couldn't even bring guns from hours away They could not bring weaponry that could penetrate the stuff these guys were wearing. Okay? We're an armed society, but we agree that when you step out of being an armed, when you step out of that agreement that we're all going to be peaceful, we bring those guns out so damn fast, as many of them as we can. And just to show you how peaceful our society is, sure, we're extremely armed to the teeth, nuclear weapons and stuff, but some guy puts on some body armor and he's a problem for us. So we agree self-defense is something that everybody has a right to. Now, let's hire some professionals to handle the retribution, and the rest of us can get on with our lives, and society just becomes more and more peaceful. Now, how is this not a reasonable way to look at things? And what is your other option if you're an anarchist and if you say that self-defense should not be given up? And I'm not saying you should give it up, I'm just saying that in an objective way, your self-defense against large groups, society as a whole is more peaceful if we all agree that self-defense against large groups is handled by the police and the military. And society will go right down the drain if we say that self-defense on an individual basis is illegal. And they do that in England, right? If somebody breaks into your house and tries to rob you and you kill them, that's murder. That's not killing in self-defense in England, that's murder, and you go to jail. And their society's going straight down the drain. So if you can't even defend yourself, that's terrible. But objectively, you should be able to defend yourself. And this should not be such a confusing subject. I don't even know how to go about clarifying it for these people, except to say that if you're on a desert island, you need ethics, and when somebody else shows up, you have to start discussing the ethics of how to split up the resources with them, and that's politics. Now, if you think that this is valuable material and you like the material I'm producing and you want me to produce more, patronize me, because I'm not doing this for my health. I could be working a second job or working a job that took more hours than the one I'm working now. I have all kinds of options. And I'm trying to put some effort into this YouTube thing because I thought YouTube was dead before and everybody made fun of YouTubers and said, oh, you're a YouTube baker, right? And now Dave Rubin's a YouTube baker and Joe Rogan is a YouTube baker and Prager University is a YouTube baker and Yaron Brook is a YouTube baker. So everybody's a YouTube baker. So I didn't take YouTube that seriously because of nobody took it seriously. And so I let my channel atrophy and I quit doing videos for a long time and I didn't worry about it. I thought I've got to do something real someday. But now I'm thinking podcast and videos getting to be known is some way that I can use my intellectual knowledge and the things that I'm interested in, do something I love. So if you support this and you want me to do this, you go pay me $5 or $10 a month on Patreon and help me to build up a stream that allows me to, when I sit here and say, my God, what am I doing? Should I fight with these anarchists? Why don't I just go over there and deliver the automobiles? I drive these nice cars, these Mercedes and BMWs, and once in a while they stick me in a Toyota or something. But usually it's Mercedes and BMWs. And they drive me down there, and I can read on the way down. I can do and read. I can even take a nap if I want. And when we get there, they put me in a car by myself, and I bring the car back. Now that's a pretty easy job, and I've given that job up to do this. So if you guys don't get together and patronize me, and I don't get some subscriptions, and some of you have joined already, and I'm sure a couple of you are going to join today. I just know it. But if you don't, I'm going to go back to driving Mercedes and BMWs in my extra spare time.